Hey guys, Greg here, Bone Tactical. Today I'm going to give you some knife maker tips on how to get a bend out of a knife, how to straighten a knife. A lot of times what knife makers won't tell you is that a really well heat treated knife, or especially if it's a longer blade like our machetes, will be prone to warping during the heat treat process. And that's very normal. It's very normal to get a bend in knives. And a lot of guys that send out their knives for heat treat, they get their knives back bent because a lot of times metal just likes to bend when it's heat treated. It's due to the process of the molecules inside actually changing the molecular structure. And then if it, for example, if it's a very long blade like this, and I heat this blade, it's difficult to get this entire blade cooled, all surfaces at the same time, at the same speed or velocity. So if this enters first, then it's going to be entering, and it's going to cool here much quicker than it cools here just because of the physics of a blade like this. So I'm going to show you a couple tricks. A lot of guys won't fully heat treat their machetes like I do. This is my new Super Steel from Bone Tactical, and it is just absolutely incredible. We can get it up to around 60 Rockwell and still have crazy toughness out of it. It's in what would be considered very close to a tool steel category of steel. It's not completely stainless. It has slight amounts of chromium in there, but right now for the tricks. So this is a kit from Glorifire. They sent me this little, it's like a gunsmithing kit, but it's got punches and all kinds of different stuff. But what I'm actually going to be using right now is just a bronze hammer. So you can do in any way that you want to, you can have a bronze hammer. So this is a hammer. It's got a bronze attachment here and brass or bronze. And I'm going to just literally just find the spot that's bent. For example, see if there was a bend here, then I'm just going to be beating on it. And why a bronze hammer, do you say? Well, because the bronze is so much softer than steel, and in this case, the fact that this is my Super Steel just is absolutely not affected in any way. It doesn't even affect it. So I'm beating on this. What that does is it allows the metal to release some stresses, and it makes it a lot more prone to being able to release those bends. And so I can beat in that area, and sometimes the bend in the metal will release itself, okay? Sometimes. When that's not an option and I need to go a little further, I'll show you another tip and trick. This is something I just really quickly fabricated out of a 2x4, a handle, and a slot. So when I need to, instead of putting it in a bench vise like this bench vise from Real Avid, I could put this in here and bend it, but also I've found that the metal and metal contact isn't always the best idea, and sometimes I just want to be quick. I don't want to have to wrap the blade or find pieces of wood to put in there. So I literally just stick this in the slot, and now I have basically a way to put pressure, and I can just go through here and bend the knife as I need to. Okay, so this is a very simple wood tool that's designed for being able to straighten bent blades after heat treat, because there's a lot of tips and tricks. So knife makers tips and tricks. The final one here is to clamp the blade in a couple pieces of angle iron with some C-clamps, and then put it in the oven, heat it up to 300, 350, and then take it out and put it and drop it in water. It's not gonna, 300 or 350 for 1 or 2 minutes maximum isn't really gonna negatively affect too much. It's not gonna bring your temper hardness down too much, so that's something that's not a big deal. And then a lot of times it will just allow for those molecules to kind of de-stress a little bit as well, especially being clamped in something straight will allow it to come out straight. So we've got three different tips and tricks here. One is a wood apparatus, one is a bronze hammer, and literally just stick the knife on top of a piece of wood or a wood trunk or a wood table, and then just go beating on it with the bronze hammer. And then the third thing is actually a mini tempering cycle at less than temperatures, and then quench in water, or you can try air harden as well. But those are some tips and tricks to get bends out of your knife. Thanks for watching. Bone out.